Go ahead.
All right. So we kind of talked about like what we're going to be talking about. So how often would you say you consume sports media, like via Twitter, Facebook, that kind of thing?
Like in a day?
Yeah, within like a 24-hour period.
A lot.
Yeah, probably a lot.
Yeah, I mean, every time I go on Twitter or Instagram, like I follow sports accounts, like I'm gonna see some kind of sports media information on there. And like with like NFL free agency right now, like I've been following that a good amount, so like a lot. I don't
Even like
I don't-
notifications on like my phone, I'll get a notification every like 15 minutes.
Like, I don't even have, you don't even have to open your phone to get
Exactly.
sports media information.
So this is like part of your routine, like do you like wake up and
Oh, yeah, for
one of the
sure,
first
for
things
sure.
you do is
Yeah,
go to check for that?
Yeah.
Do you want to follow up? You want me to continue?
You can continue.
So, like, of course, we get these notifications and all. Would you say you're engaged also, like posting content or anything, like having that conversation with other people, or mainly just consuming?
Definitely just consuming.
Yeah, probably just consuming.
I mean, sometimes I'll tweet out my own thoughts, but it's not like conversations with people. Like it's just kind of just saying something
Yeah.
that I think. I don't really. I feel like all the like Twitter fights and stuff. Like I don't even want to just associate with like a random person about sports. Like it would just go somewhere bad. So I don't even try to.
So, talking about like how you consume stuff. So, do you have like a favorite team or like an athlete that you follow, and like what characteristics about a team or a player like makes you want to follow them on like any social media platform?
Well, personally, I'm a sports fan of like Indianapolis teams. So like the Colts and Pacers, I have every notification that like they even offer for the ESPN and Bleacher Report app. So I'm constantly getting like information about my favorite teams. I wouldn't say so much players, but I would say more specifically like I definitely get notifications, and like I follow mainly people on Twitter that like report about those teams, I would say.
I mean, yeah, like I'm a huge Bills fan. So like I said, with NFL free agency, like I've kind of been like just roaming Twitter hoping to see like a report about the Bills signing someone, because like we could use whoever we could get. So like, I don't know, it's not necessarily like players, but like I definitely are people that I like, and like he said, you have them like marked on the ESPN app, and like you just get notifications like about them whenever something happens.
So is that one of the aspects that like continues to draw you to these like media sites, is like ease of use, like accessibility? Like what are some of the factors that kind of keeps you coming back?
I mean, I would say that definitely helps. I mean, like if it's going to be easily accessible, like you'll want to go there more because you know that you're going to get the information like easy and when you want it. I mean, like content definitely like depends on it too, because like there'll be certain sites who just will make up, you know, sources and stuff and tweet something or something like that. But I mean, I definitely like easy accessibility would make me want to go back to the same platform.
So when you're talking about like the ease of accessibility and stuff like that, and so you're basically loyal to your fan base, to however many teams you have. So how does your favorite team winning or losing, or like say in like a free agency situation or postseason, how does that affect what you post on social media? So whether it be your own or like reposting something else from your team.
I feel like I'm more inclined to tweet about my team if they're doing well. If that's kind of like the question you're asking. So like, yeah, like if one of my teams is doing well, I'm more inclined to tweet about them. But again, I'm not really much of a tweeter, more of a consumer. So it goes back to that.
So like, do you guys have like in-game analysis that you do like during a game, so like you don't tweet, oh that was a good hit, or he sucks today, like something like that? Like, are you guys like those type of people?
I'm not.
No. I'll normally just sit back and watch.
If I get pissed, I'll usually tweet something out, but that's about it.
Okay. So just kind of on that same thing, just tweaked a little bit there. Have you ever caught yourself becoming like emotionally affected by the news or something you see? Not even like necessarily watching the game, but just like if you're scrolling through Twitter and you see something, like feel emotionally affected a little bit?
I mean, yeah, for sure.
with all the stuff going on with Kirk Cousins, because I'm a Redskins fan, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna bring that up for you.
Yeah, sore subject.
All right, so what would have to happen to change your fan loyalty to a certain player or team? Like, what would make you kind of like drop your team or like think less of them?
The team would have to disband.
Kirk Cousins thing's got pretty close, but
Yeah, I feel like more at that point it's more player induced because I would say I was a Cleveland fan because of LeBron, but then when he left, I wasn't a Heat fan because of him, I guess, like if that makes any sense. So like I feel like if you're not liking one team, it's more based on players. But I feel like there's nothing that like my favorite team could do. I guess.
I mean, yeah, like for me, like I like the Bills because like I have family in Buffalo, but so like I have like a connection to them. So like it takes like a lot for me not to like them. But like for like the NBA, for instance, like I don't really have like a team. Like I just like players, like root for players. So like for the Bills, like a lot would have to happen. But like for the NBA, like I'll just watch who I want to watch and like follow who I think is like a good player and whatnot. I don't know.
So do you guys ever feel like a sense of inclusion? Maybe not so much without like being actively engaged. Like if you're on say a page dedicated to like a team or like even outside commentary about something going on, do you ever feel like a sense of family just a little bit?
I can see that on some pages.
Like I think that would be more and more for like you said, like NBA is almost geared more toward like individual stardom. Like that's kind of how they've set it up for us. And then the NFL is really more of like a team kind of base.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I think, like, Joe Thomas retiring for the Browns today, because, like, I mean, he's been there his whole career and literally missed, what, like, 3 games. And so, like, he retired and, you know, sent, like, a send-off to the fans. And, like, as a Browns fan, like, I'm sure that was, like, I'm sure that hit hard for them, because, like, he's been, like, the one consistent thing on their team for 10 years of being horrible. But, so, like, I feel like that's definitely, like, a thing. I don't know, like, if like a certain like Twitter page makes me feel like included, but like I feel like if you watch someone for long enough, like you develop a relationship even though you don't know them, like you're watching them, rooting for them, like you would have some kind of connection to them.
I feel like it also depends on kind of like the market of a team. I feel like you'd be much more inclined to like be connected to like, I don't know, what's a random NBA team, like the Timberwolves or the Kings or something, like instead of being a fan of like the Warriors, because I feel like you're more inclined to kind of like feel included as part of the fan base, and it's more of a tighter fan base, I would say. So I feel like that definitely plays a role, which again goes into like which teams you like and which teams you don't.
So that's like a professional sport range. What about like at the collegiate level? So like how would you rate like the family setting or like inclusion here at Tech? Like how do you feel about like our sports teams?
That's why I like college sports so much, because I think it's completely different, because I feel like the majority of the people that like Virginia Tech sports are alumni or students, so like I feel like there's definitely more of a connection in collegiate sports, but I feel like that's just kind of natural because of where you go to school opposed to where you live, which I think that's just me.
I would agree with that 100%. It's just much more personable because
Exactly.
like you're around them. I mean, like you don't necessarily like know everyone on the teams and everything, but like they go to your school, like you live there for 9 months out of the year, like I don't know. You just have a much stronger connection, I feel like, to college sports if you go there and whatnot.
I had a really good question and I lost it, so if you have another one, she'll come back to me.
So consensus is definitely college sports has a better inclusion. Is there any other, like, at the pro level, like, is there any other sport that you think kind of comes close to this collegiate level? Or is it just, like, just college in general?
I feel like you have to look at the ages in a way, because I feel like if you ask older people, they'd probably be inclined to say baseball maybe has that in a way, but like again, like you said, like the way that we like consume sports today, I feel like isn't the same as how they consume sports. I feel like they were much more inclined to be attached to a team than we would. And I don't know.
So it's basically our
It's
generation.
very different, yeah.
Yeah, our generation versus the older generation, and
Yeah.
how we consume it versus how they consume it.
Correct.
I have one. So if if you didn't have social media, or say it was like years ago or it didn't exist or something like that, do you think that that would change your opinion or views on certain teams or players? Because you said you like certain NBA players. Maybe you don't like them because of like their tweets and their views. So if you didn't really know anything about them, do you think that would change anything?
100%, yeah. I think so.
I'd probably think like Michael Jordan with that. I feel like if the news was focused on him, he wouldn't be like, he would still be the greatest, opinion, not different, but maybe looked at it a little bit differently because of the way like his lifestyle played out and everything, but it wasn't under a magnifying glass 24/7.
100%.
I think like the main like example of that right now would be Baker Mayfield, because of like, you know, like his criminal record and whatnot. Obviously he's a little hot-headed on the sidelines and everything. But like a lot of like outside people like see all that, but then like everyone on the inside like says that all he wants to do is win, you know, like all good things. So I think that like the social media aspect like has a huge impact on that, because anyone can put on Twitter like what they think about him, and like if they think he's a hothead and whatnot, and like only so many people know him to like actually say like what kind of character he has. So like I definitely think that like if no social media was a thing, like a lot of opinions would be a lot more like streamlined, I guess. Like people would have a lot more of the same ideas, I think. But yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but
Might even include Tiger Woods on that.
yeah, for sure.
Man.
So going off of her question, where do you think we'll be in, say, 5 to 10 years? How will social media still affect, or maybe not affect, these stars and teams and stuff like that?
It's a good question.
And like maybe one thing you could use to like think about that is, say you got like kids coming up now who are seeing this so much more often, like is that even gonna help like develop new superstars one day? Like they have that access that maybe they don't have at a younger age, say 20 years ago.
I don't know. Again, I'm not a huge social media fan to begin with, so like I don't know. That's a loaded question. What else?
I mean, I just feel
I
like,
don't know.
I mean, like, technology just as a whole is advancing, so like I don't even like know what social media could be like in 10 years. So like I don't really have a good I mean, I feel like the stuff that like is most effective, or not effective, but like most affects, I feel like athletes, is just like the ridicule and like trash talk, I guess, that like they see on social media. So like I don't think that can really like progress, but I feel like that's something that like has an effect on them now, which in 10 years, like who knows what you'll be able to do with technology and like trash talking and stuff. So like it could seriously screw with some guys. I don't know.
Get some fake Twitter handles.
Yeah, KD. Yeah.
So I know you said like you're not a big like social media fan, I guess in general, right? Not really just so much.
Yeah.
Just in general. What are, like we've talked about some of the aspects that keep drawing you like back to the sports social media. Have you guys ever had like a light bulb idea, or like what are some things that could be improved on that would kind of bring you more out of the experience?
I don't know. The only problem I really have with social media is that it becomes extremely opinionated. And to be honest with you, I don't really give a shit what your opinion is. So like, there's so many times like I'll follow someone on Twitter and I'll be like, all right, that's my friend. Like I enjoy like reading what he has to say. But then I'll get a retweet from someone else and I'm like, I don't care at all. It's just frustrating. So I don't know if maybe there's a way to like fix what you see. Because like in a way, Twitter, like because of how retweeting works, I feel like you can really see like anything at any time. So like, I don't know, maybe that's a solution, but.
So like maybe like especially with sports, keep it more like not even relevant, but just like more on your
Exactly.
maybe
More
kind
like,
of your sphere.
yeah, more of what I.
Like filters.
Okay, in a way, I guess. Like, I don't know. I don't know. just more, I guess, news, less opinion, which I feel like is exactly what social media is. It's more opinion than news, personally. Yeah.
So like more fact-based instead of.
Exactly, like more like ESPN, this is the facts, like this is who signed a contract, not this is my opinion on what has or may happen.
And is that like general, like say to like Joe Dirt over in Kansas, or like if you're watching like, say like First Take or Undisputed with like Shannon Sharp or something, like do you view those a little bit differently?
I do, because I feel like that's the proper setting. Like I feel like those shows were created for opinions and for dispute. I feel like when I'm going on Twitter, I want to see what happened. I'm not looking for that dispute, because if I wanted to, I could literally go on television and watch it right now.
You'd much rather see like a professional.
Exactly.
You know,
Like, I'd
opinion.
rather see someone who has a degree in broadcasting, journalism, what have you, actually talk about something that they know what they're talking about.
Mm.
So talking about those shows, when you watch them and watch how the real people, well, the pros say, like how do their opinions sway you in any way when you not necessarily consume it, but like when you see their opinions online and stuff like that, and then you apply it to what your knowledge and opinion is? Like, does that sway your decision and your team in any way, or like how you think of them?
I mean, I can be a pretty stubborn person, so like, if I have my mind like made up, like I'll want to stick to that. But like if I like hear something that I like I'll definitely draw it into like consideration about like what I was thinking. I mean, there's definitely sometimes like when I've heard something that like I didn't know, that I've definitely completely changed my outlook on some things. But I mean, for the most part, like I try to formulate my own ideas. Like I don't want to piggyback off of just what people are saying, you know. Because I have a friend that just like says everything Colin Cowherd says, and it's just like make up your own, like make your own opinions. Like so, it's just stuff like that. Like definitely goes into consideration with like what I'm thinking, but it's not like that's not like my reason for watching the show.
And again, they are professionals, so it depends on what they say. Like, I'm assuming they will spit out lots of facts to prove their point, which it definitely might change my opinion, which is why they're professionals.
Yeah.
On these talk shows, you know, you've got your analysts like Stephen A., Max Kellerman, Skip Bayless. You've got your insiders like Chris Broussard, Adam Schefter, all of them. Do you put more stock into what, let's say, they say, or the guys that are like Hall of Famers who have like actually played the sport that they're talking about? Or is it just equal to you?
I guess it just depends on what they actually say.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely think like if I heard from like a former player, like about like stuff in like the locker room or something, like if a former player's saying that, like absolutely, like I'll buy into that. But like if it's like a report of something, like Adam Schefter's like reporting that, like I'll definitely listen to him because like he's on the phone 24/7, like getting info. So like I think it definitely depends on the situation. Like if it's like the actual game and stuff, like I'll definitely want to listen to people who've actually played it because like they've been there, they've been on the court, like they know what they're doing. And I, like I said, like I think the personalities are more like to just formulate like opinions and stuff. Because like on First Take, like with Stephen A. and Max Kellerman, like it's basically just both of them just going at it with like opposing opinions. So like I just like listening to them banter, but like if they have someone come on who's like an insider, like and then that's factual, then I would want to listen to like more of that than I guess like just opinionated stuff. If that answers your question.
Kind of backtracking a little bit, off of both of them referred to athletes or certain athletes as stars or celebrities almost. Do you think, and then like how do you think, if you do, social media, do you think that it turns college athletes who normally like you may see them on TV but you probably don't know who all of them are, how do you think that kind of makes them almost famous? If you think that, or if not?
Like how does social media like boost college athletes?
Like, do you think that college athletes are some of them can be considered like celebrities almost because of social media, where
absolutely.
normally they wouldn't be maybe?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. The balls are the perfect example of that. I mean, like, there's really not a better example than that. Like, it's just, like they,
Social media is completely blown
Yeah.
that out of proportion. So I
Yeah.
definitely agree with that.
And And I would say Baker Mayfield is another one.
Yeah, I mean, just because of the differing opinions and stuff like that, I mean, definitely. I mean, it goes with, I mean, there's, you could say an example from, I mean, so many players, so yeah, I definitely think that, I mean, like, would they be stars based on, like, the way they play? Like, definitely, but I think that social media, like I said, with the different opinions and stuff, like, it just gets them more publicity and it gets more people talking about it, and then it just goes on and on after that.
So I think I only had like one more, kind of jumping back closer to the beginning. I think like you said, you were more inclined to like maybe like repost something or post something if the team's doing well. Do you ever go out like looking for maybe like confirmation or like affirmation if you're ever in a mood, just like, oh, you know, I just want to see some good stuff about my team, like if that's tied to your emotion, you know, like go out looking specifically for that kind of content.
Yeah. When you have a sucky team like I did, yeah.
You
kind of really do.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta dig for bright spots.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely would agree with that.
Do you guys have any other like questions or anything you just want to like throw out there that we haven't covered?
I don't think so. I think y'all had really good questions.
Yeah, that was good.
All right, well, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For being here.
Problem.